Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Spark Outbound Live. I'm Jonathan Sellers, CEO of Spark Outbound, and today we're going to be discussing how you can build your personal brand and build your authority within your industry on LinkedIn. If you like digital marketing, lead generation, sales strategy, marketing strategy, and tactics, related information, please subscribe to our channel. We go live mostly every week and discuss one of those topics. And if you're a super fan, please click the notification bell and you'll be notified whenever we go live or post a new video. So today we wanted to dig into what I would consider the organic side of LinkedIn. I know a lot of, we help essentially put yourself out there to your audience. And so it really goes hand in hand when you're doing things like outreach, because as you're growing your network within your target audience, by being able to essentially have this built-in credibility factor or built-in validation that you are, who your headline says you are, it's a really powerful thing, and it's definitely something you should consider. A lot of people do kind of either or, um, and so people are either like, absolutely, you should just create content, or other people are like, I don't care about that. I just want to, find new opportunities, find new leads. And so I think though, in my opinion, and in our opinion, it's important to do both. So it really, I think they both help each other to a certain extent. But bigger picture, as you're building these new connections, whether they need whatever it is that you do or offer today, by staying in front of them and staying relevant, it can make you be top of mind when they do need whatever it is that you offer. Or also, alternatively, you just build relationships. You may actually need what they need, and you find that because of the conversations you have related to your organic posts. So today, what I wanted to talk about was a few things, just around this concept of why you should be focusing on your content that you're posting out, and what are some of the options, I guess, that you have, and that's really where I want to start first. Um, so with LinkedIn, you have if you're familiar with other social networks, you obviously know that there's different types of posts, different styles of posts, and the different, I guess, styles or formats and things like this will perform better on different networks, and it even evolves, right? So something that might be the social network may be looking for right now may become oversaturated, and then the network changes their algorithm, and now something else is what's working best. Um, so we do, we help some of our clients also with this, creating their content. And so we see several of the types of posts, that are performing better. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, some of the formatting, but I want to start with the, kind of that most high level of what, if you're in LinkedIn, um, what can you literally post? And so if you are in your LinkedIn and you click on the start a post button and go to create a new post, you'll see that there's several different types of posts available, or there's several different things you can add to your posts, for instance. So one is just a text post, right? So you can just type out some text and send that out, no problem. That's been around forever. Some of the other things you can do are posts related to adding an image. So it could still be a text-based post, or it could be just a standalone image, um, but image-based. Then there's also video. So there's a couple different ways you can do video on LinkedIn. There's a definite preferred method. So the one way is, like, if you have a video on YouTube or Vimeo or something like that, and you have a link to it, you can post that. You can put that link in your post, and it's going to kind of pull something from that typically like something from that video will pull into the post. Same kind of way if you had a blog post and you shared a link to the blog post, it's going to pull in, a link and kind of the image preview to that blog post. But the preferred method, because LinkedIn is really against linking out of LinkedIn. LinkedIn wants to keep people in LinkedIn. They, they're just like the other social networks. They want people on the platform for longer. So if you upload the video file itself as a native video, that's going to always perform better. I say always, the vast majority of the time it's going to perform better. It's going to be shown to more people, which will then lead to all the other things: people watching the video, people engaging with the video, commenting, liking, so on and so forth. There's also the ability to add documents. So you could add like presentation documents or, various document formats. If you had something that's not an image or video, but something that you could share, or, you have a good reason to share it. You can also specifically make a different post type if you're hiring. So if your company's growing, you're looking to hire new employees, they have a way of highlighting that. They also have this cool thing if you're like it, they call it celebrate an occasion, but some examples with that are if you hired a new employee, you want to welcome them to the team. If you want to show somebody like a thank you, great job kind of post, you're launching a new project or something big happens with your company or with you personally, work anniversary posts, or new job, you got a new job post. There's like a different format available for those things, so it makes it stand out a little bit in the timeline. And then, last but not least, I know probably if you go on LinkedIn a lot, you've seen these. There's also polls. So native polls, you can propose a question, multi-choice, maybe like 4 or 5 answers. I think it's 4 answers. And then LinkedIn's going to show that out to your network and extended network. And then, people have the ability just to quickly answer it. It's cool because if you answer a poll, you get to see the results as it stands. Typically, like after you engage in a poll as well, when the poll ends, you will typically get a notification and says, Jonathan Sellers' poll ended. Click here to see the results, and you can go see it. So polls are very popular right now. I've run several polls myself. They get a lot of engagement. Like if it's a cool question, if it's a cool concept around what the poll is asking, people want to see what other people are saying. I think there's that, once you've engaged with a poll and you know that when I click this answer, I'm going to see how many people agreed with me or disagreed with me. It's kind of almost maybe a little bit of an addiction factor of people. They just got to know what other people think. So I think that's a pretty cool post type. And like I say, because of that, it will typically get good engagement levels and could be your best engagement levels of any type of post, depending on what happens with it. But then that now kind of just brings you bigger reach to your audience, or people who are similar to your audience, or at least people who resonated with whatever your poll topic was. So those are some of the uh, post types that are out there. There's other things: offer help, right? Find an expert. Those are you're looking for people, or you have some information and you're willing to share it. So overall, LinkedIn, the goal is to provide this professional environment where people can share value and receive value easily. And so that value can be different things. So one is obviously grow your business and clients, but a huge part of LinkedIn is find jobs, or progress your career and things like that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, so just understanding, like, this is and I guess there's one other thing that I neglected just now, which is writing an article. Writing an article is essentially taking, and through your LinkedIn profile, you're having like basically a separate blog. So you're taking long form content and posting it as an article to LinkedIn versus posting it to your blog or posting it to like a Medium or something like that. That was really popular a couple years ago. I've really seen a decline in that. Not as many people are doing it. I think before when they rolled that out, they were really trying to push it. So if people would do that, you would get a lot of reach. And that's a common theme with LinkedIn and other social networks. If they have a new feature that they want to see, take off, be successful, they think it's going to make it a better environment, they will weight the algorithm when people do that the reach will increase. Or, you know, depending on what other factors are in their algorithm, they'll help achieve those other factors. For instance, um, what makes posts get more reach and go viral? Um, it it with LinkedIn, a lot of it is related to or at least this is what people assume based off testing and things like this. There's a lot of data out there that you can research around this, but some of the biggest factors are around how much engagement the post gets and how quickly the engagement comes. Meaning, so if you post the post now and you got 2 likes in the first hour, if someone else posted a post at the same time and they got 20 likes in the first hour, LinkedIn is going to look at those 2 posts and say the one that got 20 likes in the first hour, in a very simplistic way of thinking about this, is more popular. So then the way it's assumed that LinkedIn distributes the content is then they say, okay, this post was more popular. Let's now show it to another group of X number of people. So it took 100 people and 20 of them liked it. That's a pretty good ratio. Let's show it now to another 1,000 people. Let's see, does the ratio hold? Let's see, is this audience going to still resonate? And if the ratios hold, if it's still getting good engagement, typically what they do is then they say, okay, here's another audience of people that maybe it's not connected to this person. Let's now put it in front of them. If it still continues to get engagement, that process just seems, to continue. It can happen very quickly, but also there is something to the fact that LinkedIn posts retain engagement over time. So it's not necessarily that you're going to get all your views and all your engagement in that first hours or first day. Um, Popular posts that have more of like a evergreen or more lasting content value continue to get engagement like over a period of time. Even if you're posting new content, LinkedIn will just keep saying this is something good. And like you'll see that, like you'll see something on your, or I do, see something on my timeline that says, here's this thing that has 20,000 likes. Sometimes that happened in one day, but sometimes it'll be like, this is from like 10 days ago, right? And I'm just now seeing it for the first time. So it's not necessarily just so simplistic and straightforward as to say you just got to get a lot of likes quickly and then you'll go viral. There's several factors. It seems that LinkedIn builds in several different pieces to try to confirm the interest. Um, and then there's other things. It's like, who are you? How's your profile? How engaged are you on LinkedIn and things like that. So when coming up with what you're going to post, I think there's a few things maybe that I think there's one common error that people will make that I think is probably the biggest error with LinkedIn, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about how you post native video, so upload the video file versus share the YouTube link, for instance. Um, the LinkedIn is very anti-link. So they want you on LinkedIn. So I think a lot of people will say, okay, I'm going to go take all our blog posts and I'm going to share articles and stuff that are relevant articles. and that's my LinkedIn strategy. And so you can get engagement from that. If you have an engaged audience, if what you're sharing is very relevant, you can get engagement. But you just have to know that if that is fully your strategy, then because of the logical, just the goal of LinkedIn to not have that happen, they're not going to you're not going to get the reach that you potentially could because they don't necessarily like the format that you're posting. So just keep that in mind. And it's not to say don't share links, because obviously if you have good content from your website, or, you know, like I follow people in the SEO world and digital ads world, um, and, you know, just in sales strategy in general. And there are some very authoritative sites in those industries that are essentially like news sites for the SEO industry, for the ads industry, and things like this. And so, yeah, that content is very important and very valuable. So it's not to say don't post that at all. Just not, you know, we don't have to be anti-link. We just have to understand that if that's our whole strategy, it will be, you know, to an extent, will be not as effective as we could be if we do some of these other things that we're going to talk about. So there's a lot of what I would consider, and I think maybe they consider themselves this as well. There's a lot of LinkedIn gurus out there who will teach you this is the exact way. So you should format your profile. You should write your headline this exact way. All your posts should be formatted this exact way. And I think there is some validity to some of it because they've obviously done testing and things like that. But I would say, um, you know, keep in mind when everybody does something, you know, nobody stands out, right? So uh, some of that is best practices. And I think there's something to the, you know, to the concept of if you're posting text-based posts, use small sentences and, you know, you know, I'm trying to think of the wording, enter, you know, leave a blank line in between the small sentences, things like that. Just makes it easier for people to read it and ingest. I think Facebook and LinkedIn both work with that type of copywriting style. Um, it's easier for people to flow through the post. But I think sometimes you don't have to do that always. I think you can mix it up, and I think to a certain extent that can stand out just because it's not the same thing that everybody else posts. I also see literally a post I'm looking at right now, which is just one paragraph, right? No spaces, just one paragraph. It's several sentences, and 20,000 likes, right, in one day. So it's a feel-good post. It has nothing to do with business at all. Um, it's about something personal that this person saw happen, and it's just like a positivity post. And so, you know, but it goes against this formatting that is supposedly the ultimate formatting guide. So just always keep that in mind. But I would say um, when you're coming up with your strategy, and this is what we do with our clients, what you want to do is have a really good mix of um, personal, professional. Okay, so things about you professionally that are personal. So not necessarily like what's your favorite cereal, but why did you get into sales, if that makes sense. You know, why do you work in the industry you work in? Who were some people who, through your career, led you to the down the path that, you know, put you to the point where you are today? So I think that's a critical component because people resonate with the person, right? This is your personal profile. But I do think there is a little bit of space for just truly personal things. I think it comes even full circle to even beyond the work you. Here is the real, you know, the outside of work you. And I think, you know, that is needed to some degree. I think that's a small degree, right? I think that's a small percentage. I think the work personal information is a decent percentage. I think what do you know? Like, what is your expertise? I think conveying that in different ways is a bigger percentage, but I think it's not in a way of, it's critical that you're not just selling. I think selling or talking about things related to why should people do business with you should be a small percentage. I think the majority of the posts should be in one way or another, um, showing that you have expertise in your area where you are an expert, where you are a leader, or where you hope to be a leader. Um, yeah, and I think just having a mix of that at the highest level to say we want to promote, our business. We want to promote me if you're a single, if you are the business. If you work with a small business, you want to promote the business a little bit. Um, but I think more importantly on LinkedIn, you want to promote the fact that you are skilled in whatever it is that you do. And then I think also uncovering the why, the motivations around why you are in this position to do what you do, is important. And then just sprinkle in an occasional if you have children, and some people have very strong opinions about this because they don't want to bring their children, um, put their children out there for various reasons. But that's a possible option is, just showing things like that, because especially I think with what's happened with COVID and everything, and so many people going and working from home, and I know really for the first several months, it was kind of like a running meme that your kids just interrupt your meetings, right? Kids are home, you're trying to work from home and things like that. I think that really made a lot of people take a step back in the concept of just understanding that so many of us and so many people you're working with on a daily basis, they don't just exist to work with you, right? There's so much other personal stuff going on. But I think just keeping that in there, it keeps it light, it's a cool way for people to just get to know you better. Even it could be hobby related stuff. You go, on a vacation to a certain place, or you do races or triathlon, or some type of thing like that, or fishing, things like that. Um, just mix it in there, but unless that is your business, I think that would be just a small percentage. So the I think the so knowing that you're trying to craft this mix, right? You're trying to keep these different things um, going out regularly to drive to people when they engage with you, when they're looking at your profile, they're seeing these different sides of you, and getting to learn more and more about you. Um, it's a really it's I guess the question becomes, how do I do this ongoing? So how much should I be posting? How do I come up with stuff around all those topics indefinitely, into the future? And I think it comes down to um, just keeping that focus, like knowing what you're trying to accomplish, and then just being creative. I think there's some of it, and some people are very on LinkedIn. They're on there and they're doing this stuff in real time every day. And some people just don't have that capacity or desire to necessarily do that. So they have to be more strategic with it, and maybe come up with this game plan ahead of time, and then um, you know in one way or the other, then they're putting the content out there at the scheduled time. So um, things you can do are look at what uh, so when you see a post that has, like this one I'm referencing off screen, it has 20,000 likes from in one day. So think about when you see those type of posts. obviously some people have millions of followers, right? So just no matter what they post, they're going to get a lot of likes. So not necessarily so much that, but other people you see where it's a little bit you don't know who they are, and so you're wondering kind of what made this go viral and get to this level, and so then kind of think about what that is. A lot of those most popular posts are falling within a few buckets. One of them is a this. So this example, this has nothing to do with work. It is truly a positivity post. What it's talking about is this person was at a store. They saw some kids. One of the kids' bike was broken. They were pushing it by. Another gentleman stopped and helped fix the bike in a rainstorm. So it's raining really hard. He got out of his car, got soaking wet, but he fixed the kid's bike. The kids were so happy. The guy was happy. It's very positive, smile about it. And so boom, this goes very popular. But it's not this for this person. What did this do? It didn't show, it says on their profile that they're an entrepreneur, a fitness and lifestyle specialist, leader in sales and marketing. So there are a lot of different things, but this doesn't make me know anything about what they do. But it went viral. So can this person, from having this viral post, have future posts also get higher levels of engagement because this post got so much, right? So that's a question. That's to be seen. They will have to see if that turns out to be true or not. Other posts that go viral are what I would consider extreme posts. So this is like, I think the guy's name is Dan Price. I'm not 100% sure. Dan Price is this, or the person I'm speaking about, if that's not his name, and I apologize, but the person I'm speaking about is the CEO who went viral in the United States a couple years ago because he raised the minimum salary to $70,000 a year for every employee and lowered his CEO salary from $1.1 million a year to $70,000 a year. And so more recently, I see a lot of his posts because maybe I'm following him, but people engage with them a lot. And so basically, his post strategy is to just bash any larger company, any CEO. Uh, it's just a negative style. And these posts go very viral because they're combative at the essence. So literally, the person is saying something in a style that either strongly resonates with people who agree with it, and they're like, yes, I agree, and I hate this other person that this post is referencing, or people who read it are just like, this is completely wrong, like this is an unfair viewpoint, whatever the case. There's another an HR person who has huge engagement, and her posts are all anti-company. Basically, every company is out to just do horrible things to employees, and so it gets a huge engagement because a lot of people feel that her viewpoint is unfair. A lot of other people feel that they've experienced something similar and they agree, but it gets these massive engagements. So it takes a thick skin to take that because you're going to get engagement. If you come out and you post for a week, for a year, and you are absolutely um, against something that's very popular, it's going to eventually get traction, but you're going to have to, you're going to see what people are saying. So you have to understand, like, do you care, right? Or do you have the ability to defend your stance? Um, or like I say, do you care? Do you want to defend your stance, or it just doesn't matter? So I think all those things come into play. And then other things that will go viral are things I think related to helping people. So I do think um, helping people find jobs, or, some of those, maybe even let me see, the celebrate an occasion type posts where you're really like telling this feel good story about something that happened or somebody did something great and you're giving them props for it. That can also go viral because the positivity factor. It's almost like LinkedIn has a positivity factor, like a positive sentiment factor in the algorithm, that they want to, they want the positivity, so they're going to push it, they're going to promote it, and things like that. Um, so so yeah, but at the end of the day, though, those are some of like, if you're looking at why are these going viral, and then I'm seeing that this is a trend, this type of thing. So you could tap into that and mix that into your post mix. But I think some of the other things would be trying to find different ways to engage your audience around that same topic. Because if you do one thing, you're an expert in one field, and you want to further your authority in that field, you have to figure out different ways to do that. You can't just keep saying the same thing. So it goes down to what we said before, breaking out the different objectives of your post. So the personal, professional information, the truly personal stuff, the you know, what your authority, like what do you do? What are you an expert at? How can your authority help people? And so on and so forth. So things that you can do. I'm just going to run through a few of these, and there's a resource out there there's several resources out there with like different types of posts, but I'm just going to go through a few that get good engagement. So one is, you know, you can make a post which is you're positioning it as, I get this question a lot. So I get this question a lot. Here's how I answer it. Um, and so that could be like from your clients, that could be from you get this a lot from your social media connections. Um, you can do so you can take one of these controversial issues, and then you can actually build a post which is literally just your side and why. So you're building your case about why you feel a certain way about an issue. Somebody else does a controversial post, so one of these ones that goes viral, you can literally react to that. So if it's relevant to your industry and this person is saying this thing and you strongly disagree, I think is the best case to use this, then you can say, I saw this post and this is the thought of this person. This is why I disagree. And then you can build that up. Obviously, you can do things like creating lists, like these are the most important things you should know. If you do have capabilities to capture video, even from just your phone, I'm using my phone to just do this live. But even if you have that, so you can just capture your thoughts and just share them in a couple-minute video. If you have graphic design access or skills related to graphic design, you can create unique images or infographics to get your point across. A little more tactical things would be making posts where you're welcoming your new connections. This is old school style for me. This is like Follow Friday from Twitter from like years and years ago, where you would just at a whole bunch of people, and the point is that they would theoretically, especially in the beginning, they would like all retweet you, so you would get all this engagement. So similar things like that. You could do that for companies or people. Um, you know, give shout outs to clients, or people you work with, other vendors. Tag their company, tag their personal profile. Hopefully they engage as well. Maybe share it, things like that. Talk about things that people. Your industry has this reputation that's unfair. It's not true, but this is what a lot of people think about. And so then you essentially, like, you unpack that and you explain why or why not it's true or it's not true, I guess. Talk about your process. So I'm going to go through a few more of these, but there's so many different things you can do. You can obviously proposing questions. right? So you can ask people, would they rather do A, B, or C? Um, Getting into like your company stuff, you can tell the story of your company, like how did your company come to be? Um, you can make predictions. So you can say like, hey, I'm making this prediction about what's going to happen in my industry. Um, you know, and if you are a person who uses humor, using humor and those type of things can really work. One of our clients, we did a post like that for them, and it was serious, but it was presented in a bit of a humorous way. And his feedback to us was it was literally his most viewed post ever on LinkedIn, was him making some predictions about their industry. So it's pretty interesting. Um, just talking in matter of fact, just basically being strong with your opinions is, I think, because of kind of some of the other things we talked about before, it just solicits the most response because people are either going to agree with you or disagree with you typically. Um, or at least there's going to be groups of people who are agree or disagree, and then there's going to be kind of people in the middle, just like everything else in life. But if you can get a lot of people to agree or disagree, you can get a lot of engagement going. Talk about wins or challenges that you have. That goes to that personal professional thing, and just really breaking down, um, what you know the reality of what's going on. So many people only post just the positive, so bringing in the negative can be an interesting perspective, or just vulnerability, I guess. um, and then you can just share all kinds of things related to. I think something that I see uh, was really successful was a photographer who shared a screenshot of an email that somebody had sent them, and it was like this really personal thing that the person had shared with them. They obviously blurred out the person's name and everything, and they also mentioned they had gotten approval to share it, but it went super viral because it was the person being very appreciative of the feedback this person shared, but it was also like how what the person did had helped this other person. So it was fulfilling a few different purposes, I think, in what the content was actually conveying to the audience, and it resonated to the point where this person had like tens of thousands of engagements. Um, and they were somebody who had not, based off just looking at their profile, that was not typical for them. Yeah, and so resharing content from other platforms, screenshots of it, and things like that. Uh, if you're working in an office or not, you're working from home, showing kind of the behind the scenes of your work situation. Um, we mentioned it before, but um, really doing shout outs to people you work with, or showing how much you appreciate or care about someone is important. And just generally asking questions in varieties of ways, just testing out different ways to ask questions. Um, Combining what you do with a hobby. So if you're a sports fan, just bringing up content or posts that tie, your love of sports in that case to, how you approach life or how you approach work. And then at the end of the day, there is a little bit of room to literally just promote your business and say, so there's a couple ways you can do that as well. There's the literal, this is what we do, we can help you with this type of post. But then there's also the, we're so excited, we got these great results for this client. Here's a case study on and what we did for them, and why they're so happy. Um, and so all of that over the course of a year, right? So how much should you post? I would say between one to, however many times you want to per week. I don't think there's a limit on the max. I've never really seen it because I think LinkedIn looks at it post by post, and um, to my knowledge, I don't think you can post necessarily too much, but I would say, if you shoot for 3 to 5 posts a week, solid posts that have some context and value to the audience, When you look at that across the course of a year, so if you did three, you're going to be at 156 posts or something like that, um, per year. Like your audience is going to know you better. So a percentage of your audience is going to see all those posts, some number of people. And if you're also combining that with outreach and you're growing your audience and you're getting in front of more of the people that you need to be in front of, a percentage of those people are just going to constantly see this content you're posting and they're going to know who you are. And then that's going to lead to over longer term, you know, there's countless examples of people who have done this type of thing, who really committed. They're 100%. I'm all in on LinkedIn. I'm going to put myself out there. A lot of them have done it with video. Video was very big in 2019 and 2020. Not as much now, but it's still important. But a lot of those people really committed to creating just this large quantities of videos. And several of them, I know of a few ladies who have literally transformed their business, um, exponentially, like multiple factors of X, um, in the matter of a couple years by becoming influencers on LinkedIn and growing a huge audience. And then, um, a lot of it is not, a lot of their content was not about what they do, so that it's not like they're just coming up with new ways to say how they build marketing campaigns or do video production. It's about, value to the audience. And then they also obviously mix in occasionally, we did this for a client, or we do this for a client, or they bring somebody on as a guest to one of their videos and talk about it. And because they're getting such good reach, that will also get good reach. And so now, essentially, minus the time and effort and costs related to producing all those videos, they're getting this, baked in credibility into this audience. And yeah, and so then now a whole bunch of people know that they've skyrocketed exponentially, or even as they find them later down the line, they see this person is obviously very successful, and it comes about through organic, means. So, um, one other tip that I wanted to talk about related to the engagement thing that we talked about earlier is the fact that, it truly is um, so it's about the speed of the engagement. We talked about that earlier. So one tip that I always see some of the most successful people, Neil Patel always says this. He always does this as well. Every time somebody comments on your post, you should respond to them. And so that your response, is just viewed as another comment to LinkedIn, and that's how it reports the numbers of comments, and it includes yours. So if you get, four responses or four comments and you respond to all four of those, there's actually now eight comments immediately. So that can in itself just go a long way with, in the beginning, with getting that volume of engagement up. And then you can really drive that through if you just, spend some time doing that. So that's one of the things we discuss with our clients. And it's not always, it's not, you're busy. It's not always possible to just sit there responding to people on LinkedIn. But, yeah, so that I do think that's important as well. So anyway, just wrapping up, if you're, still with us, I would just say, as is everything else, related to, digital marketing in general, it all works together. So your brand presence, your web, your online presence, what is your brand messaging, um, your processes. So like what are your lead gen processes? How do you turn leads into opportunities, and you know, get to the proposal phase if you're, a service provider, and how do you close people, and then how do you onboard people? Like every bit of it works together. And I would say when you're looking at lead generation, or even branding and things like this, like how would you classify this? I think it's just another piece of the puzzle. But I think if you can have efficient processes, with our clients, we do have what I would consider from their perspective a very efficient process, and we're able to capture their true thoughts because we have a process where we do interviews, and so we literally get our clients' real thoughts about issues, and we turn those into nice, ideal formats for LinkedIn posts. And so from their perspective, they just have to be honest and just we take care of the rest and helping them position it in a way where it's ideally going to get the most engagement. So, but if you can just be strategic in your approach as well, um, you can be efficient, which is critical for so many of us. Like we don't have a lot of time to just spend doing things. So efficiency is key, and just being strategic will help you be able to develop, a process or a system that's going to help you communicate who you are, communicate your expertise, and then be consistent with that. So I think that's really it for today. So this was more of a philosophical conversation because I think really it's about just the concept of what is LinkedIn. It's like LinkedIn has hundreds of millions of professionals on there, millions of decision makers and things like this. So chances are mostly your audience is to some extent on LinkedIn. And so if you are, trying to grow your business or trying to, take your professional career to this next level, um, doing these type of things and standing apart can really help you build that credibility, build that foundation. It's a resource that people can come back. So as you meet people, you can just refer them back. They come check you out here and they're like, yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. Like, look at, I can easily look through their content and see that they are who I am looking for or who they say they are and things like that. So just don't skip out on it. Even if it's just one post a week, even if it's a couple posts a month, it doesn't matter, but just do something. It's there, it's an opportunity. Even myself, like we do this for clients, but even myself feels, I should be doing more as well. So it's something I'm working on. Um, it's a little trickier with so much focus on getting, delivering for our clients that and this is like the thing that I think maybe a lot of digital marketing people fall into is, you know, being able to really focus and devote the effort for me and or our brand at Spark Outbound. So, but anyway, if you have any questions or thoughts, disagreements, or you really like this content, please comment below. As I said in the beginning, subscribe to our channel, and we post this type of content or content around lead generation very frequently. We go live like this every week, and we'd love for you to join us on these lives. If you want to make sure you get notified when we do go live, click the notification bell. And otherwise, we will see you in 2 weeks. We will not go live next week, so just as a heads up, but we will see you in 2 weeks, and then we'll be going strong through the rest of the summer. We have a lot of cool topics planned, and we are just taking a week off for the holiday from going live for the holiday in the US, 4th of July, and then we'll be coming back strong for the rest of the summer and into the fall. And we already know what we're going to talk about, so that's exciting. So yeah, otherwise, I hope to see you soon. And as always, feel free to come to our website, sparkoutbound.com. You can schedule a consultation call or anything like that if you want to chat with one of our leadership team right from the site, or you can just send us a message. Happy to just talk with you either way. Also, comment here, contact us through Facebook or Google My Business, whether it's in our Cape Town office or our Tampa, Florida office. And I hope you have a great holiday weekend and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.